87% of your lifetime investment growth hides in the last few years of the journey, but almost everyone gives up in the first decade. That is the trap. You start compounding, the line on the chart barely moves, and you quietly decide it does not work. Today I want to show you what really happens in those early months and early years so you do not quit right before the growth curve starts to bend. Meet Harry. Harry answers calls in a noisy customer support centre, 40 hours a week, making about $43,400 a year before tax. After deductions, his paycheck lands at $2,619 every month. Rent eats $1,153. Groceries and transport chew through another $800-something. Most months, Harry ends with maybe $50 or $60 sitting in his checking account. If you feel like that is your life, stay with me, because Harry does not get a huge promotion. He does not get a mystery inheritance. The only thing that changes is how he treats the boring early stage of compounding. A few months before his 27th birthday, Harry listens to an audio version of The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel on the bus. One line sticks. The idea that most of the legendary investor results come from a tiny number of years where compounding really explodes. Harry hears that and thinks, if the magic years are at the end, then what I do at the beginning must be less about results and more about survival. On the same week, he stumbles onto The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. Different author, same drumbeat. Start early. Stay in the game, ignore the noise. None of this is about picking the perfect stock. It is about living long enough, financially, to let the math work. So Harry tries something that, on paper, looks almost laughable. He opens a basic investing account that lets him buy a simple index fund. Instead of promising himself some heroic amount, he sets up a tiny automatic buy of $37 on the 15th of every month, right after his rent clears and the rest of his bills settle. $37. That is it. That was the number he could stare at without feeling panic in his chest. Here is what really happens next, and this is the part most people never see clearly. Month 1. Harry checks his account almost every day. He sees $37 and some cents. The market wiggles a little. One day it is up $1. Another day it is down $3. Emotionally, it feels pointless. He could have kept that money and ordered takeout twice. By month 3, the pattern is the same. He has just over $112 invested. The news screams about inflation and interest rates and recessions and rallies. His balance dances between 105 and 119. Harry feels like he is walking up a down escalator. This is the first hidden stage of compounding. The boredom stage. The math is working. You just cannot see it yet. Most people stop here. They cancel the deposit. They plan to come back when they can invest a real amount. But Harry makes one quiet decision. He decides that for the first 12 months, the account is not allowed to make him feel anything. It is just a bill, like rent, like gas. It goes out. He does not debate it. Around month 6, something small shifts. The account passes $250 for the first time. That is still not life-changing money. But for Harry, it is the first time in his adult life that his net worth graph has a line that only moves in one direction. Then month 7 punches him in the face. His car needs a repair. The estimate comes in at $489. Old Harry would have emptied the little investment account and killed the compounding experiment. New Harry does something different. He takes a deep breath, pulls 2 extra shifts, sells an old gaming console for $142, and covers the repair without touching the investments. This is the second stage of compounding, the identity stage. You stop seeing the account as extra cash and start seeing it as untouchable seeds. The catch is simple. The early deposits do almost nothing at first and almost everything later. Back to Harry. By the end of year 1, he has made 12 tiny deposits of $37. That is $444 of his own cash. With normal market swings, his account shows something like $469. He is up about $25. That is it. An entire year of patience, and the profit barely pays one grocery run. If a friend looked over his shoulder at that moment, they would probably laugh. All that discipline for $25. But this is where compounding quietly shifts from money to mindset. In year 2, Harry does one important thing. He does not double his contribution. He just adds one more little lever. Every time he gets a pay raise or overtime, he nudges the monthly invest amount up by $5 or $7. By the end of that year, the monthly buy has crept from $37 to $53. That tiny, boring change does more for his future wealth than any fancy stock pick ever will. By month 24, Harry has deposited just over $1,100 of his own money. Thanks to a mix of market gains and reinvested dividends, the account shows roughly $1,229. The gain still looks small, just over $100, but something huge has changed. The gap between what he put in and what the account shows is no longer pocket change. It is starting to feel like the investments are working without him. This is the third stage, the separation stage. Your money starts to feel like a different worker in the household. It shows up even when you are tired. Around this time, Harry reads The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. A little book from nearly a century ago, obsessed with one simple rule: pay yourself first. Clason did not have apps or index funds, but the principle is identical. Take a slice of every income and send it to your future self before anyone else gets paid. Harry smiles because by accident, he's been doing exactly that for almost 2 years. The best part of compounding does not even start until later. And this is the truth nobody tells you when you first begin. Imagine Harry keeps leaning in. He keeps nudging his monthly investment by small odd amounts. $53 becomes $61, then $69. A tax refund arrives one spring, and he throws an extra $217 into the account. He does not see every episode of his favourite series. He brings lunch from home more often than not. Life still has treats. They are just chosen, not automatic. Fast forward to year 5. Harry is 31 now. The call centre still hums, but he has moved to a slightly better position, training new hires for a bit more pay. His monthly contribution has climbed to $112. Nothing insane. His total deposits over 5 years add up to roughly $5,300 something. Thanks to the market doing its slow, often annoying thing, the account shows just under $6,400. Here is the key. Only about 1,000 of that balance is growth, but that 1,000 did not cost Harry any extra work. It appeared because time and returns teamed up. At this point, a lot of people would still shrug. 5 years and the account is only 4 figures. But compounding's just starting to stretch its legs. What that means for Harry is this. The dollars he invested in year 1 might double once by his mid-30s, and again by his mid-40s, and maybe again by his mid-50s, if he stays invested. The dollars he invests in year 15 will not have time for all those doublings. So the earlier dollars, even though they were smaller, end up doing more heavy lifting. This leads us to the part of compounding that almost no one feels emotionally prepared for. Around year 8 or 9, the curve finally starts doing the thing you see in textbooks. The line stops being gentle and starts bending upwards. Harry has been investing for close to a decade. His total deposits might be something like 11,000 and a bit, but the account could now be showing 15 or 16,000. The gap is no longer a grocery trip. It is a used car. It is half a year of rent. The growth from the portfolio in a good year is larger than his contributions. He wakes up one morning, checks the account, and realises it grew more last month than he put in. That is the moment compounding stops being an idea and starts being a lived experience. Here is the twist. The math did not change that month. The market did not suddenly become kinder. What changed is that Harry finally crossed the invisible line where the returns on his money are bigger than the money he adds. This is the real heart of compounding, the 4th stage, the handoff. In this stage, your job shifts from pushing the snowball to protecting it. Harry stops obsessing over how to squeeze a few extra dollars into the account. Instead, he protects the habits that got him here. He keeps his lifestyle a step behind his income. When friends upgrade apartments, Harry lets himself move 1 year later. When someone jokes that he is cheap, he grins and changes the subject. Remember those books he read? The Simple Path to Wealth warned that the hardest part is not getting rich. It is staying invested when everyone around you feels richer than you in the short term. The Psychology of Money hammered the same idea in a different way. Wealth is what you do not see. Flashy spending hides compounding. Quiet investing amplifies it. By year 10 or 11, Harry sees something almost surreal. In a strong market year, His account might grow by 3,000 or 4,000 without any heroic contributions. That is more than he used to save across entire years in his early 20s. The tiny $37 deposits from the beginning are now pulling their weight alongside the bigger later ones. If you zoom out even further, something else becomes clear. The first few years of compounding felt like nothing. The middle years felt promising. The later years feel unfairly generous, as if the universe finally flipped a switch in your favour. So what does this mean for you, sitting here wondering whether your first $100 or $500 or $50 a month is worth the trouble? First, understand that the early months are not about the money. They are about identity. You are teaching your brain that you are the kind of person who plants money in the future instead of burning it in the present. Even if your account could disappear tomorrow, that identity would still be priceless. Second, accept that the numbers will disappoint you at the beginning. That is not a sign you are doing it wrong. That is a sign you are at the only place compounding can start. Third, protect the system more than the amount. If all you can do is $29 a month, then guard that 29 like it is sacred. When your income rises, nudge it up. When life punches you in the face, find a way to keep the system alive, even if you have to pause growth for a couple of months. Finally, remember Harry at 3 milestones. At month 3, when the account was barely over $100 and he felt foolish. That was the moment most people quit. At year 5, when the gains were small but real, and he finally had a graph that sloped in one direction, that was the moment he could see compounding waking up. At year 10, when the growth from the investments beat his contributions, that was the moment the game flipped, and his past self started working harder than his present self. This is what really happens when you start compounding. It is slow, it is boring, it is emotionally confusing. Then it is suddenly obvious and powerful, and almost unstoppable. You will not feel the magic in month 1. You might not even feel it in year 3. But if you can survive the boredom stage, hold the line through the identity stage, and defend your habits long enough to reach the handoff, the math will do something wild. One day you will wake up, open your account, and realize your money